y'all, welcome back to my channel. So this video is super late. I am filming this on February 21st. January was a really busy month for me, so I wasn't able to film this last month, but I'm going to show you guys all the books I read in January and hopefully give you the ratings that I gave it. Now, the first one that I read that I only gave 3 stars because it was just okay to me was the thriller Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I won this through William Morrow. They had a giveaway on their website. I received an email newsletter from them, so I entered the giveaway and I won. Most of you have read this book, but it's basically about this woman who claims to see her 17-year-old son commit a murder. So it just goes through all those nights that she thinks she sees it, and then it ends up being it wasn't really her son. And basically that's where the title comes in. She feels like she was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she feels like her son was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I rated this 3 stars mainly because it didn't get good till the second part of the book. The first part was okay, but it was just really slow, and I felt like it was a little repetitive too. But overall, it was an okay thriller. I've read better, but this was also my first Gillian McAllister book, so I'm not totally gonna rely on my rating that all her books are like that. I will give her books another try, but I just hope that it's better than this one was. The next one I read, which was an ebook, which I do not have, was Magician of Light by J. Fremont. This was a book best friends book that I had won through their program. They have giveaways, and then you enter, and if you win, they send you an email and let you know that you either won the physical copy or the ebook copy, and I won the ebook copy. This one I really loved. It was a historical fantasy set in historical times about this magician that thinks that he can direct light and all that. I really enjoyed it. I rated it 5 stars. I do hope to get the physical copy eventually, but for right now, I'm just happy that I was able to read the ebook and that I gave it a high rating. The next one I read, which was another ebook, I rated it 3 stars, was When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I rated this 3 stars because it really bothered me that it was mainly concentrating on racism opposed to an actual murder that was happening in this woman's apartment building. So that really bothered me. Like, if you're gonna rate a thriller, yeah, I understand, have a little bit about racism in it, but let there be more mystery instead of concentrating on a social issue in a mystery novel. Like, that's what really bothered me. That's why I rated it 3 stars. I don't think I'll read any more of her books. I hope all of them aren't like this one was, but I'll have to see where I go from there. The next one I read, which was A Life Renewed by Olivia Ray. This one I won. Actually, I signed up on for her book tour with Just Read Publicity Tours. Sadly, I ended up leaving them because they were very pushy about when I should have my review up, and if I didn't have it up in time, they would just keep asking me, hassling me about it. When I told them that I had it up already, so I just left that tour because I did not like that. Like, we all have busy lives, you know, so we can't post every hour of the day, and I wish they had understood that. But anyway, I really like this one. I rated it 5 stars. I will definitely read more of her books in the future. This was book 1 of the, I forget. This was book 1 of the Secrets of the Queen series. This was basically about Queen Mary and her life her daughter's life and all that. It was about this girl, Lady Jane, who's hiding a girl in a principality in Germany due to she's supposed to be executed for murder. So it basically talks about that. It has religion in it. It talks about Protestants. It talks about Catholics and their history. It's set in 1554. So if you like these kinds of historical fiction novels, I highly recommend Olivia Ray. She is an absolute genius writing about England and their monarchy back then. The next one I read was The Secret Society by Renee Ryan. This was my first time reading a book by her, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorites. This one I received through Just Read Publicity Tours as well. Like I said before with the previous book, I left their tours because they got really pushy with me, and that's just not how I do my book reviews and book posting. So, but this one I rated 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's basically about an opera singer who has little in common with a young English typist she encounters on her tour, and it goes through and talks about that. She ends up marrying him. They end up living in Germany during the Holocaust, so it talks about all that. I really enjoyed how visual Renee Ryan was with her writing. The way she talked about the scenery in these countries back then. The way she talked about the issues that were going on in these countries back then. This is mainly why I love this book. Not a lot of historical fiction novels talk about the scenery and the times that were going on back then when they write in those eras. So this one was definitely my favorite for that reason. The next one I read was The Sweet Life by Susan Woods Fisher. This is book 1 in a series about 2 mothers opening a creamery after they vacationed in Cape Cod during the summer. And it just talks about how they do that and the life there, and I just found it really cool and interesting. A very relaxing comfort read. So I rated it 5 stars. I can't wait to read book 2 when it comes out this spring, I think it is. So in a few months. But overall, this is a really cute book. If you like reading like lighthearted contemporary novels, this one's definitely for you. There's not a lot of romance in it, even though it's listed as romance on Goodreads, but it's more of a contemporary read in my opinion. But when you read a book, you give your own opinion of how you feel when you're reading it. The next one I read was Wind by Elaine D. Davidson. This was part of a book tour I did with Traveling page tours. You probably saw my post on Instagram and Facebook about it. This one is more of a young adult middle grade read, but it's really cute too. It goes along the lines of Wizard of Oz meets Hansel and Gretel, that kind of storyline. So if you enjoy a book like that, I would definitely recommend this. I rated it 5 stars. The next one I read, which was an ebook, was Shadow Valley. This one was a paid promotion that I did with book influencers for the author Nick Xander Wolf. This was a beach thriller. I wasn't sure if I would like it because I've never read a thriller set on the beach, but I absolutely loved this one. It was so great. Like, it had you on the edge of your seat. I rated it 5 stars. I'm hoping that he will write a book 2 and make it a series, but I haven't heard anything yet about that. But that's what I'm hoping for. The next one I read was The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This one I rated 5 stars. I just loved the whole idea of the setting in the 1920s, and it just talked about what New York City was like back then, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know why a lot of people don't like F. Scott Fitzgerald's books. This was my first one that I read by him, so I'm hoping to read more, but I really enjoyed it. Next one I read was Never Leave Me by Jody Hedlund. You all probably remember about a year or so ago, I read book 1 in this series, and I talked about, like, it was a time travel book, a sci-fi. This one is the same way. Basically about this girl who has a genetic disease, and she's trying to figure out why she's becoming sick with this since her father died from it. So it basically talks about that and how she's desperate to save her life and find out why this disease is killing her or is attacking her and killed her father. I rated it 5 stars. The next one I read was Smugglers in Amish Country by Debby Giusti. I think that's how you pronounce her name. This one I rated 5 stars. It was a cute mystery set in Amish country. If you've ever read the love-inspired suspense or romance books, then you know how these ones usually end up. This one was cute. I'm not a big love-inspired fan, but this one I really liked. Next one I read was Wylder Times by Pam Binder. This was another book influencer paid promotion book. I rated it 5 stars. This was basically about the Blackfoot tribe in the Native American heritage, and it just talks about that and how this woman, she's trying to help find a killer that's attacking these Native American Indians. So it basically goes along the lines of that. The next one I read, which was 5 stars, was Darkborn Messiah. It was an ebook. Another paid promotion with book influencers. I rated it 5 stars. I thought it was a really good fantasy. And I'm trying to remember what else was going on. Like, I really liked it. But yeah, it was a 5 star for me. It's a fantasy, and when I posted my review on Instagram, the author replied back, and he said that he's hoping to make it into a series. So I'm really excited about that. I am looking forward to reading book 2. I'm hoping he'll have it out in the next year or so, but we'll have to see about that. Next one I read was Winter's Reckoning by Adele Holmes, MD. I won this through Library Thing a few months ago. So this was my first Adele book. I really loved it. It was just really phenomenal. It was basically about this herbalist healer who's devoted to the people of Jamesville. I forget like what town or whatever it's set in. I think it's set in like North Carolina or Georgia or something, but it's a historical fiction about this herbalist who is devoted to helping her people in this town from dying of diseases, but she has a taboo against her because she's hired a black apprentice. So these people are like racist about whites working with blacks or vice versa. So it basically talks about that, but it's a really good book. I love the ending. It also talks about witchcraft and the KKK. So if you're familiar with those storylines, you will definitely love this. There's a few of my book club friends in the online book club I'm in that have actually been reading this because I recommended it to them. So I'm just really excited. I'm waiting for them to message me to let me know how they like the book. I hope they love it as much as I did. The next one I read was Images by Lauri Broadbent. This was a medical thriller. I'm not a big medical thriller person. This was my first time reading one. I rated this 5 stars though. So I'm thinking I'm starting to lean toward medical thrillers, which I'm really excited about. This one was another book influencer paid promotion. So I really loved it, and I'm hoping to read more by the author in the future. And the other book that I read in January was One Little Lie by EJ Towler. This was a legal thriller. I've never read a legal thriller before, but I rated it 5 stars. I really loved it. There was a little bit of romance in it, a little bit of erotic romance, you could probably say. But overall, it was mainly a legal thriller, and I really enjoyed it. I rated it 5 stars. I'm hoping this author will do a series with this and write a second book, but I haven't heard anything yet, so I don't know. Those are all the books that I read in January. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If there's any here that you've read, please let me know in the comments below, and I would love to hear your opinions on them. Or if there's any books here that I've read that you want to read and you want more information about them, just let me know in the comments below. I guess that's it for now. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!